Well, second morning of the hunt. We got up 30 minutes earlier this morning. And it wasn't mainly because, we got a short drive, but we want to make sure to eat breakfast this morning. So, we're friggin' going with our bison and pork chorizo hash from Gastronome. It's got a lot of calories. It tastes absolutely delicious. Just great, real food. But yeah, so looking forward to it. I think that every day that we move further, there's going to be better and better bucks showing up. So hopefully that next caliber of buck wants to come look around at some does and see if they're like, hey ladies, you guys ready? You want to play? We'll see. Well, I made it back up here to what I'm calling Pride Rock. And got up here a little bit earlier than even yesterday, which is good. Like, that's why we left camp earlier. I want to be up here in that really, really prime time. Right as the sun's starting to peak up, which it's trying to. But we're going to give it at least the morning. See if we can turn up any better bucks today. Hopefully we can find something to go chase. Feeling good. Got some good breakfast this morning. How you feeling, Jace? You feeling good?
Super good.
Awesome. Jace is feeling good. I'm feeling good. Today could be the day. I got a feeling. Here's a deer. More deer. Doe. Well, it's about 7:30, so good, I don't know, probably 40 minutes since it got daylight. We've seen 18 or 20 deer, something like that, but only one buck so far. Oh crap, there's deer right here, Jason. Right here. 3 does. Okay, so we've seen like 23 deer. See them? Mm-hmm. But we've only seen one buck so far, and it's just a 2-point. He's back over this ridge, and he's got, I don't know, a doe group of 6 or 7 does. I first picked him up, and he was actually trying to breed a doe. I watched him mount her twice. I was trying to trying to help Jace locate where they were at and see them, but they ended up coming back over, and that's when the whole doe group came over. So I think that's a good sign. I think that maybe does are starting to try to be a little bit more receptive, which is great news. But we just need a bigger buck to show his face. I mean, we've got so many doe groups located in both, in these 2 big basins that are around us right here. But just need that next caliber of buck. I've been saying it, but we just need that next caliber of buck to step up. Instead of these 2 and 3 year olds, we need that 4-year-old buck or something like that to really show up and kind of take charge. But good morning so far. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous this morning. Like, I mean, beautiful landscape, beautiful sunrise. Like, couldn't ask for much more. Looking at deer. Just gotta find the right deer. Well, we have not seen a deer in close to an hour, which is pretty crazy. That first hour and 15 minutes was just hot and heavy. I mean, we saw, I think we got like 37 deer, but only 3 bucks the entire time. And nothing bigger than, just a decent young 3-point. But I guess it was a 2x3. But we're going to give it, I don't know, another hour, maybe hour and 15. See if we can find anything else. And then head out and kind of hike further back up in there. And I've picked out kind of 2 different rock faces. We're trying to decide, do we want to go right side or left side, to look up into different areas. And that'll give us something completely new to look at for this evening. Because, I mean, granted, a big buck could show up anytime with all these different doe groups. But we saw that 2-point. I saw them breed a doe, and they rolled back over that hill. There was, 10 or 12 does on that hillside just the next ridge over. Well, if we go 2 ridges over, we can glass back into where they kind of went to, as well as see some completely new country to us for this afternoon. So I think that's kind of the update / the plan. Fingers crossed we can find something good. But guess we'll see.
Oh, shoot.
4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the pad right there. Looks like a cat track. Mountain lion. Cruising around in here. That's probably why all the deer are spooky. They don't care about us. We had deer walking 100 yards of us and just look at us and like, those guys aren't any harm. I see deer up the mountain and they're just constantly like, whoa, whoa. Because these freaking predators are roaming around. Those things are way more deadly than we are. That's fresh, dude. Time for some lunch. Well, it's just after 1 now. We came down here to the truck and got a bite to eat. Got a little quick 30-minute nap in or so. Now we're gonna head to a new glassing knob back that way. Wind's kind of picked up the past, 30 minutes to an hour. We've been down here, close to 2 hours, I guess. And there's just huge gust of wind will come through and everything else. But
We're gonna get our stuff together so we can get up there to that glass and knob and have that last, 4 hours or so of really good prime glassing. It's pretty cool. We could see this beaver dam when we were up there, but we're gonna use it to kind of just get across, but it's wild. I mean, that thing is solid. Like, there's no water that's coming down through there. I mean, when a beaver gets to work, wow. You can see their house right back there. That's amazing. Didn't even make it up to our glass and knob. The glass and knob's just right there. Jace looked back and all of a sudden there's 3 deer filtering over the mountain this way. We just looked and it looks like it's, one's at least a buck. I thought I saw that both, it looks like 2 does and a buck. Oh, there's a 4th one. And that one's a doe as well. There's a 5th one, 6th one, 7th one, 8th one, 9th one, 10th one. Holy cow. So 9 does, and I think it's a 2x3 buck. That's a good start to the afternoon. So it's about 4 o'clock. We've been up here, give or take, hour and a half, almost 2 hours. We've seen, I can still see some of them there, 10 does and a 2x3, 3x2, whatever you want to call it, kind of up this mountain here. We saw those as we were walking in. We've seen 3 more does down lower, and then I was watching 2 does and a fawn just kind of feed right over here. It's a decent afternoon. It's so interesting how, that makes 19 deer that we've seen this afternoon, or 20 deer that we've seen this afternoon. And this morning we saw 45. Yesterday morning we saw 40. But then in the afternoons we only see 20-ish. But we still got hour and a half of daylight left. So right now, looking at my maps here, and one thing that I've noticed is almost all the deer that we've seen, if you made a straight line and just went all the way around to that mountain, all the way through here, back here, that's all right there. It's all almost like the exact same line, like you can make a circle, and that's where the deer are. So I started looking, and I'd been dropping waypoints where I've been seeing deer, writing in, hey, there's 2x3 and 10 does, there's a 4-point and a big 2x2 and some does, blah blah blah. There's a doe group here, there's a doe group here. So I've been dropping points, and that's what it really shows me. And I start looking at the elevation, and everything's between 7,200 feet and 7,600 feet. Nothing above it, nothing really below it. So, talking to Jace, I'm kind of contemplating have we seen the best bucks that this basin has to offer? I don't think we have, but I was also looking to see, where else we could go in these other basins that are on this side of the mountain here that have that same elevation type. Because if we can find that same elevation, theoretically, there should be deer there. And tomorrow's day 3, we're kind of at that halfway point after tomorrow, or midday tomorrow. So if we were going to make a move, it should be tomorrow, because then we can either say, okay, now we found another really good spot. Obviously this is a great spot. We see tons of deer. We've seen another probably close to 30 deer tonight. So that's like 75 deer that we've seen today. But nothing of, that quote shooter mentality or that shooter caliber. So if we were to move, we can either say, yes, this is good, or exit off the map. So that's what I'm thinking about here with about 40 minutes of light left.
Well, it's the end of day 2. We just ate some yumminess from courtesy of Gastronome. And we're gonna hopefully be able to sleep tonight. She's pretty windy outside, but I think we'll be alright. It's not that cold, which is kind of nice. Temperature kind of hasn't gotten too bad, but yeah, I guess I have to sleep on what we're gonna do in the morning. I think Jace really, really wants to go to a new spot. But it's very hard for me to want to leave does, to find does. Granted, you might find bucks as well. So, I don't know. I guess it'll be a game time decision in the morning. So, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Well, it's the morning of day 3. Got up bright and early and ate some breakfast real quick, and then decided to drive to a new area that I've been looking at on my maps. It's in that range of elevation that we've been, finding most of the deer at. Or, it goes higher, but there's a big elevation band. And again, looking at my satellite imagery and stuff, it looks like it's the same type of cover and food and all that. So it's gonna get daylight here in the next 20-25 minutes. We're here early, which is good. Looks kind of framey. 5 does and a buck. Straight. Not that far. Right over there. Up on that second bridge. I think he's a 4x3. He's a 4x3. It's a good start. I think I was sitting here maybe 2 minutes and found some deer. It's right up there. Really not that far away. 500 yards away right there. And we could cut the distance pretty quick if it would have been the right buck. Alright, that's a good start. Let's find some more. Well, it's about 8:15. We've been sitting here for an hour and a half or so. We've seen 10 total deer, 4 bucks and 6 does, but the biggest just being that 4x3. So I think we're gonna run back to the truck real quick, get our stuff together, get back to the truck, and we can drive around and get into that next basin as well. I think we're gonna try to do that and hopefully turn up some deer in there before they all get to bed for the morning. But that way we can at least kind of cover 2 spots pretty quick. So we were going from this drainage over to this drainage, and we had this little cut through road, and as we got up here we're like, oh well, this is a nice high spot, we can glass this whole face. We were glassing for, I don't know, a minute or so. About that time Jason's like, I've got a buck, I've got a pretty good buck. We found this buck, and he's a 3x4, but he's probably the biggest buck that we've seen so far. He's got, I don't know, 4 or 5 does with him. And he just went and bedded right on the edge of this timber up there. He's like right at 900 yards away right now. He's gorgeous. I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting a closer look at him. Would you, Jace?
I'd like a closer look.
We had a closer look. Can I give you my bullets though? That way if we get up in there and I get a closer look and I'm like, man, we got him at 150 yards right here. It could be all over but the yahooing. Alright. Jace has convinced me. We need to go take a closer look at this buck. So, drove around the hill and parked here. We're gonna mosey across, get on the backside of this ridge and go up. We gotta hit a rock face and then we can work over to the next big rock outcropping. If we do that and he's where we think he is, let's go do it. Wind's going straight up now. We were down there at the bottom, it was going up the drainage. But now that we've gotten up here and it's a nice sunny hillside, it's going right up. There they are. They're all the way across the canyon. Where's the buck? He's gotta be in there. He's gotta be. And now all his does have left him. Oh, there he is. Is that him right there? To the right, to the right, to the right.
Yeah, I see.
That's him. He's gonna bounce out above.
I'm on him.
Dang it. Just freaking. He stopped for a split second. And I almost sent it. He was standing at 320 yards. He just stopped. Well, after that debacle, now the wind's coming straight up the hill. It's not coming like that. We're gonna head back down to the truck and grab some lunch, make a sandwich, and probably head back into Pride Rock this afternoon. I was just telling Jace a minute ago, I was looking at my map of kind of seeing where those deer filtered up and over. And they actually just kind of filtered right back towards our drainage where Pride Rock is. We might just see him again, even though we bumped him. But we actually pushed him in a good direction. I guess we'll see. Well, it's about, 2:30 or so. We decided, normally we've been going up in there and glassing. This evening, we're gonna hike up over this ridge, just right up here to a knob, and kind of look at it from a different angle. The sun's gonna set like this. Granted, it's turned out to be really overcast this afternoon. I don't know if there's some weather moving in or what. Well, got up here. Glass that face really, really good. Every afternoon we've seen a lot more deer over here. And where we're at, the pre-scouting day, or the scouting day, if you will, like when we got here, we just drove right down here. We saw those bucks up in here. And they've been kind of just working this hillside, so could be something that pops up just right here above us. But we're kind of anticipating things to be on that hillside over there. So we just spotted the first group of deer. We saw one doe way back that way, but just a doe. And straight across where we've seen deer, the past couple of evenings, I just found 10 does and 2 bucks. And it's a big 2-point, and I think it's the same 3x2 that we saw around that bend yesterday evening with a group of does. But they're just kind of hanging out. The 3x2 is actually bedded right now. Okay, so that's a doe. Another big 2-point with does. Imagine that. Well, that's the close of day 3. We got close today, that's for sure. But couldn't get it done. Got busted by the wind. But it's fun to have a close call. Fun to go and stretch the legs a little bit. Get a little excitement running through your veins. And this afternoon was kind of, like I said earlier, the usual suspects. So we're going to get our stuff together and ease back down off this hill, get across this creek that we have to cross, maybe with a little bit of daylight left. So maybe tomorrow's the day. Jace, you think tomorrow's the day? Jace's shaking his head back there. He doesn't want to say anything, but he's been telling me. I think what you meant, he said we were going to kill on day 2. What you meant was 2 times 2.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Anyway, thanks for sticking with us. Hopefully you guys are at least enjoying all the deer footage. Thanks for watching.